She lost in the first round, and somehow that might have been the best thing that could have happened to her. Because while everyone was focused on the disappointment in Qatar, something much bigger was quietly unfolding in Dubai. And if you blink, you might miss the moment that could define Alexandra Eala's entire 2026 season. This isn't just another WTA 1000 event. This is opportunity. This is pressure. And this is the kind of draw that young players dream about. Alexandra Eala walked into the Qatar Open with momentum, belief, and growing expectations. She walked out after a first-round loss to Teresa Valentova. It was abrupt. It was frustrating. And for fans who've been riding the Eala wave, it felt like a step backward. But here's the twist. Dubai might have just handed her a lifeline. Eala's rise over the past year has been nothing short of fascinating. The 20-year-old Filipina has become one of the most talked about young players on the WTA Tour. Not just because of her results, but because of her presence. There's an energy around her, a belief, a fan base that feels like it's growing by the week. Her performances at the ASB Classic and the Abu Dhabi Open showed flashes of maturity and composure. She looked comfortable on bigger stages. She looked like she belonged. But tennis isn't linear. For every breakthrough, there's usually a setback. The Australian Open gave her a taste of the main draw spotlight. The Qatar Open reminded her that consistency at this level is brutal. And now comes Dubai. Let's talk about what just happened. Eala entered the Dubai Tennis Championships thanks to Naomi Osaka's withdrawal. That alone shifted the dynamics of the draw. Suddenly, a door opened, and when the draw was revealed, you could almost hear the collective reaction from tennis fans who follow the details closely. She got a qualifier or lucky loser in the first round. That matters. At a WTA 1000 event, especially when you're unseeded, you don't usually get kindness. You usually get thrown into the fire against a top 20 player immediately. But this time, it's different. Win that match, and she likely faces Jasmine Paolini. Now, let's be honest. Paolini is a respected competitor. She's proven she can grind. But she hasn't exactly set 2026 on fire. A third-round exit at the Australian Open. A first-round loss in Qatar. That's not the form of someone dominating the tour right now. For Eala, that's not a nightmare matchup. That's a winnable match. And this is where things start getting interesting. If she gets through those early rounds, she avoids a top 10 player until at least the quarterfinals. That is huge, especially for someone still building her resume at this level. Look at the section she's in. Emma Navarro, Linda Noskova, Elise Mertens. Dangerous? Yes. Untouchable? No. Compare that to someone like Emma Raducanu's draw, which is packed with immediate landmines, and you start to understand why people are whispering that this could be Eala's moment. But here's where the story gets even better. Coco Gauff could be waiting in the quarterfinal. And that's not just any potential opponent. That's a friend, a former doubles partner, someone she shares history with. Coco Gauff hasn't been in blazing form either. There have been patches of inconsistency, moments where her level dips, matches where she looks vulnerable. If this matchup happens, it won't just be about rankings. It'll be about belief. Because facing someone you know, someone you've shared a court with before, changes the psychology completely. But before we even get to that potential blockbuster, there's something bigger at stake. Rankings. Last year, Alexandra Eala announced herself in a massive way by reaching the semifinals of the Miami Open. That run was transformative. It wasn't just about the points. It was about perception. Suddenly, she wasn't just a promising junior champion. She was a legitimate threat on the WTA Tour. That semifinal run earned her 390 ranking points. And here's the reality of professional tennis that fans sometimes forget. Those points don't stay forever. When Miami comes around again, she has to defend them. If she doesn't replicate that performance, those points disappear, and the rankings can drop fast. This is the dangerous period. Dubai isn't just another tournament. It's a chance to bank points before the pressure of Miami arrives. Right now, a lot of Eala's appearances at big events have felt like free swings. Maiden appearances, low expectations, nothing to lose. That luxury is fading. Now, there's something to protect. Now there's a target on her back. And that's why this Dubai draw feels like a gift. Because if she can string together wins here, she cushions the blow of whatever happens in Miami. She buys herself breathing room. She builds confidence. Confidence is everything for a 20-year-old navigating the brutal middle tier of the WTA Tour. Let me say this clearly. Opportunities like this don't show up often. An unseeded entry, a manageable first round, a second round against a player searching for form, no immediate top 10 collision. This is the kind of path that can quietly turn into a career-shifting week. But it only matters if she takes it. And that's where the conversation gets real. Can Alexandra Eala handle expectation? Because it's one thing to be the underdog, surprising everyone. It's another thing entirely when people start saying, you should win this. The mental shift is enormous. We've seen young players struggle with that transition. The tour is filled with examples of talent stalling when the weight of ranking points and public belief kicks in. But there's something about Eala that feels different. She doesn't seem overwhelmed by the stage. She seems fueled by it. And that potential quarterfinal with Coco Gauff, that could be the ultimate measuring stick. Imagine the narrative. The rising Filipina star, the American Grand Slam champion, former doubles partners now battling for a semifinal spot at a WTA 1000. That's not just a match. That's a statement opportunity. Still, none of that matters if she doesn't get through the early rounds. This is where discipline comes in. No looking ahead. No dreaming about golf. No thinking about rankings. Just handle what's in front of you. Because the qualifier or lucky loser in round one, they'll have nothing to lose. They'll swing freely. They'll treat it like their shot at a breakthrough. Eala has to bring intensity from the first ball. If she does, the door's open. If she doesn't, this whole conversation disappears in 90 minutes. That's the brutality of tennis. I genuinely believe this might be the best chance she has to make a deep WTA 1000 run before she starts earning seeded entries consistently. Once you're seeded, expectations skyrocket. Draws get trickier in different ways. Pressure multiplies. Right now, she's in that sweet spot. Dangerous. Respected. But not yet overburdened. And the field around her section isn't invincible. Emma Navarro is solid but beatable. Linda Noskova is powerful but streaky. Elise Mertens is experienced but not untouchable. There is space here. And in tennis, space is rare. Let's also talk about the fan factor. Eala's popularity is climbing fast. Every tournament feels like a test of whether the results will catch up to the hype. That kind of spotlight can either lift a player or suffocate them. So far, she's handled it well, but Dubai is different. This isn't a 250 event. This is a WTA 1000. This is where reputations are built. If she makes the quarterfinals, the conversation changes. If she beats someone like Paolini and navigates through that section, the belief grows. And if she somehow meets Coco Gauff and makes it competitive, or even wins, that's a headline moment. That's the kind of match that makes casual fans pay attention. But here's my honest take. Even if she doesn't make the quarterfinal, the key is how she competes. Does she control rallies? Does she stay composed under scoreboard pressure? Does she serve big on break points? Because at this level, margins are tiny. One loose service game can undo an entire match. One hesitation in a tight tiebreak can flip everything. Dubai isn't just about results. It's about growth under expectation. And I think she knows that. There's a maturity in her interviews lately. A calm understanding of the long season ahead. But let's not sugarcoat it. The rankings math is looming. If she exits early here and then struggles in Miami, the drop could be sharp. The WTA ranking system doesn't care about narratives. It's cold. It's mathematical. Which is why banking points now is critical. This week is about cushioning the future. And from a storytelling perspective, it's fascinating. A first-round loss in Qatar could have spiraled into doubt. Instead, it might have reset her focus. Sometimes a quick defeat sharpens you. Sometimes it reminds you that nothing is guaranteed. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what she needed before stepping into Dubai. So here's the big question. Is this the week Alexandra Eala turns potential into proof? Or will we look back and say this was a missed golden window? I'm leaning toward belief. Not blind hype. Not unrealistic predictions, but belief that she has the tools to navigate this section. Her baseline game is solid. Her movement is sharp. And mentally, she doesn't crumble easily. If she plays within herself, if she trusts her patterns, if she doesn't chase highlight shots under pressure, she can make a serious run. And if that quarterfinal with Coco Gauff happens, I promise you the entire tennis world will be watching. Because nothing accelerates a young career like beating a big name on a big stage. But first things first. One match, one step. Dubai has opened the door. Now it's on Alexandra Eala to walk through it. And I want to know what you think. Is this truly her best chance at a deep WTA 1000 run before Miami pressure hits? Or are we underestimating the dangers in her section? Drop your prediction in the comments. Quarterfinals? Semifinals? Or early exit? Let's debate it. Because this week in Dubai might quietly shape the entire trajectory of her season. And if she does make that run, remember this moment. Remember when it all shifted from a disappointing Qatar exit to a massive opportunity in Dubai. That's what makes tennis beautiful. One week you're out in round one. The next week, the path clears. Now we find out if she's ready to seize it. Tennis IQ is where we break down the story behind the scores, the pressure behind the rankings, and the moments that shape careers. If you love real tennis conversations, you're in the right place.